sometimes trying to help people and to walk their path for them because we've been through those lessons before can not only set ourselves back on the lessons that we need to learn, the things that we need to do for their lives, but that person is not being allowed to make those decisions, to make those mistakes in their own life and in their own way. Because a lot of the times we can have similar lessons. We can maybe all, be working towards self-love. Maybe that is something that, a lot of millions, billions of people are working towards, just loving themselves better. But that single lesson can come in different forms at different times and in different ways for every single person. Maybe somebody might learn more about self-love at 10 years old than somebody when they were, somebody learned it when they were 70. That they're both completely valid experiences. Neither is greater than the other. That is just how each person's life path is. And, I heard somebody talking about this like maybe a few months ago or so. And, the more I thought about it, the more I really understood it, because it's like the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can guide people as much as you want, but you can't really make them act or do anything that they don't want to do. And before I get more into that, just a little introduction. I'm Julia. This is Tea Time with Julia. I have all of my notes for today, just a page of notes. Some of these videos I like to keep a little bit brief and just try to get to the point, because I used to, not really write and it would just get all over the place. So just for today, there is so much, today's idea is that there's so much power in learning our own lessons. There's so much power in being able to, it's amazing to be guided, but to take that information and to implement it into your own life in your own time. Because the beautiful thing about life is that we are each on our own journey. This is my life. I'm going to go do what I want with my day. You might be passing through this video and go continue on doing something completely different with your day in a completely different area of the world. So that is so beautiful that we are on our own paths, that you might take this information and implement it into a different way. You might be inspired to make an art piece. It might inspire you to do something else. It might inspire you to call a friend from years ago. I don't know. You're going to do with this information what you feel like is accurate for your own life. And I think that is wonderful. That's amazing, because we can, there's just so much power. There's so much freedom. There's so much, energy in learning our lessons in our own time. And that, like I was saying at the beginning, that teaching somebody and helping somebody, not saying that helping is bad at all. We should be helping, helping somebody with opening a door for them, whatever it is. You can help people in any way, any capacity that feels right to you. And, just to be generous and just to be kind. But helping sometimes can turn into living that person's experience for them and wanting to help them. And I've been there in situations before where I desperately wanted to help somebody, where I saw the potential in them, that I was trying to live their experiences for them, to go through struggles for them and with them, when they were just supposed to go through that on their own. Especially when it was things that I had already been through, and I wanted to teach someone okay, you do it like this, you do it like that, this is what I learned, this is blah blah blah. Even sometimes coming on here, take everything that I say with a grain of salt and implement it into your own life in the best way for you. Don't take everything that I say for fact. I feel like that is how cults are formed, and I don't really want to be a cult leader, so please don't take everything that I say completely as fact. So be able to make your own decisions. And I feel like sometimes we can really want to, I think it just comes down to really just wanting desperately to help people and to not see people struggle. But sometimes people do have to struggle. Sometimes we do have to struggle and learn things for ourselves and to become self-sufficient. And when I was reflecting on this, it reminded me of something that I learned about in middle school. I think they had somebody come in and they taught us about Heifer International, the Heifer Project. And it was really just about teaching communities how to be self-sufficient and to learn for themselves. And, sometimes, while I was also reflecting about this before making this video, I was just going through my notes. I feel like sometimes, just in my own thoughts, sometimes I feel like we can, go to communities in Africa and Asia and feel like, from the West, that we know everything. But these people, these civilizations, these communities have been up and going for thousands of years before the West was even, what it is now, before it was colonized. So, You know, sometimes I feel like we just try to, again, this is a different topic, but you know, just from what I was like thinking about with the heifer project, I was like, these people probably know what they're doing in the community. Like, they know what a cow is. Like, I don't know. But in middle school, I feel like, you know, I just like the idea of teaching somebody something, not doing it for them, but so that they can be self-sufficient. But yeah, again, that isn't to say to not help people. Help people how you feel is best, when you feel called to, the way that it can work for both of you guys, but not doing it in a way where you are going to take away the lesson from them. And again, this was making me think of when my brother was younger. My aunt was watching us. She wasn't like watching my brother at the time. I think she was maybe with me and my older brother or something. She had just cooked on the stove and the burner was hot. It was red. And my brother thought that was a great idea to put his hand right on top of it. And he burned his hand. But he never did that again because it hurt. And you're not supposed to do that, because when the burner is red, I think he learned then that, you know, you shouldn't be putting your hand on it. So sometimes, even like as a parent, and just like from the parents around me, from my aunts, stuff like that I've learned is like, sometimes you can't really tell a kid what they should be doing. Sometimes they really just have to experience it on their own. Like my brother, you could say a dozen times not to put your hand on the stove because it's going to be hot when it's on. But until that kid actually does it and figures it out for themselves, they're probably not going to listen to you. Like, it's kind of going to be in one ear and out the other. And even at 28 years old, sometimes there's some information like that I really have to learn for myself, and to learn those lessons for myself, because it'll be like, again, sometimes my mom will say something or my dad will say something. They'll be like, no, don't do that. And then sometimes I will do that thing and then realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that thing. Like, sometimes we really do need to learn our lessons for ourselves, to be self-sufficient, to be self-sustaining, and for that to be part of our lives. Like, again, there have been lessons that I've gone through that I try to help my cousins through, but I can't live that experience for them. They are going to take that lesson however they're supposed to take it in their own life. And I have 2 more examples. I don't know. I always go through examples. I just try to make it a little bit more relatable. But when I used to watch the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, there was this episode where Aang was training with, I think, one of the avatars or something like that, or just one of his mentors. And the mentor told him, you know, he told Aang to envision something that you love, and he envisioned Katara, and he was like, okay, let it go. And Aang was like, what? Like, I'm not gonna let her go. And he got so angry, so he left his mentor, went to go to Katara, and they were like battling and fighting, and Katara was like, no, just leave. Like, I can do this on my own. And Aang wouldn't leave. Aang almost died. So it was just like, bro, like, he just had to learn the lesson for himself. That, like, yes, you can let people, you could have let Katara go. And I just think it was, just something that he just had to learn on his own. And to sum all of this up, it was something that I learned from The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. But is it sometimes we learn best by doing. You either experience it or you don't. You are either there or you're not. And that was something at the very last episode of Haunting of Hill House. So if you've never watched it, spoiler alert ahead. But Hugh overdoses on his medication and, you know, takes his own life in order to live in Hill House as a ghost for his, you know, deceased wife. And Steve, the oldest brother, saw the dad on the ground and didn't say anything to his siblings. He saw his dad had already passed away. He saw his body on the ground. He knew he was talking to his dad's ghost in the house, because, you know, just in Haunting of Hill House, there's ghosts everywhere. Ghosts are sometimes regrets. Some ghosts are sometimes people. Like, there's just a lot about ghosts and family regrets and things like that. And he didn't tell his siblings what he saw. And what Hugh said was that you either experience it or you don't. You're either there or you're not. You either take the lesson to be there and you learn that, or you don't. And sometimes there are things that cannot be said. Sometimes there are just things that we need to experience on our own, and we need to figure out in our own ways. And of course, he probably went and was like, you know, dad isn't coming, dad passed, but he's not going to get into the details of everything he saw and experienced with his dad, everything that his dad was telling him about the house, like, because you're either there or you're not. You either take the lesson, you know, either that's your lesson to learn or it's not your lesson to learn. So yeah, that is why, just overall in the message of this video, it is really amazing when we can learn our lessons for ourselves and to create the life for ourselves in our own way, in our own capacity, even if it is something that somebody else has experienced and is trying to teach us through. So, yeah, I hope that wasn't like a deterrent to say not to help people, because obviously help people, be generous, be kind, be yourself, but don't try to live somebody else's lesson for them. Let them learn it in their own way, in their own time, and just, do maybe whatever you can to guide, but allow them to take their own lesson. So I hope that was a helpful, inspiring something or the other. I hope you took something from that. To also realize that you don't need to be, if you are somebody who like feels like they need to take on that caretaker role, you don't have to. And you don't have to put yourself in that situation if you really don't need to. Like I said, there are sometimes I feel like I need to teach my cousins stuff because I'm older than them, and sometimes they do look to me for things, but I can't be thinking about them all day long. I can't be like, okay, I need to like help them through this. I need to do this for them. I need to make sure they're okay. Like, they are going to learn their lesson in their own time. So, I hope that maybe let you lessen your hold on maybe the relationships that you have if they don't need to be that tight, because you just gotta let the baby bird fly out of the nest. You gotta let them try, and you need to let people jump on their own. So that is that for today's message. Today is Friday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, or whenever you are watching this, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you back here next week on Monday. Yeah, feel free to like and subscribe. Let me know anything in the comments if maybe you were in a situation where you were just like, I'm holding on so tightly to this thing. I need to let it go a little bit. I need to let this run its course. I need to let this person learn what they need to do. Let me know if there's ever a situation like that. Or even in something that you're watching. And again, I see it. I saw it in Avatar. I saw it in The Haunting of Hill House. It's just, they're everywhere. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch stuff and then also like take a lesson from it. But again, I am done. You will not hear from me until Monday. But yeah, sometimes I actually have been posting, just real quick, I've been posting a little bit of, of my videos, a little bit of things that I say, and just like the font, the text format, just if you just want to read it, you don't really want to watch a video. I do have some quotes and some things just on my profile in my posts that I post. It's in the post section of my profile. So yeah, feel free to look there. I got shorts, I got all the things, I got all my profiles. Feel free to follow me anywhere. Or, just have any kind of conversation. I'm always open to learning things from other people too. But that is finally it. I'm done. I'm hot in this car, and I will see you guys next week. Bye for now.